Welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into today's topic, I need you to do something for me. Take whatever you think you know about positivity and optimism and throw it out the window, because what I'm about to share with you might just turn your world upside down. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single second of this video. We're about to uncover the dirty truth about positivity that no one's talking about. So, grab your favorite drink, settle in, and prepare to have your mind blown. Alright, let's get real for a second. We've all heard it before, right? Think positive. Look on the bright side. Everything happens for a reason. Well, what if I told you that all this positivity nonsense is actually ruining your life? That's right, folks. Today, we're diving deep into the dark side of positivity and how optimism is secretly sabotaging your future. Buckle up, because this is going to be a bumpy ride. 1. Positivity blinds you to reality. Let's kick things off with a bang. You know what's great about being positive all the time? Absolutely nothing. Why? Because it blinds you to reality. When you're walking around with those rose-tinted glasses, you're not seeing the world as it truly is. You're living in a fantasy land, my friend. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus had it right when he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Well, guess what? When you're too busy being positive, you can't react properly because you're not even seeing what's really happening. You're so focused on finding the silver lining that you miss the storm clouds gathering overhead. And before you know it, you're caught in a downpour without an umbrella. All because you were too positive to check the weather forecast. Way to go, sunshine. 2. Optimism sets you up for disappointment. Here's a fun fact for you: life isn't all rainbows and unicorns. Shocking, I know. But when you're an eternal optimist, you're setting yourself up for a world of disappointment. You expect everything to work out perfectly, and when it doesn't, spoiler alert, it usually doesn't, you're left feeling crushed. As Seneca, another wise Stoic, put it, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. And let me tell you, when you're always imagining the best possible outcome, reality is going to hit you like a ton of bricks. So, go ahead, keep telling yourself that everything will be fine. I'm sure that job rejection won't sting at all when you were absolutely positive you'd get it. Oh wait, it will. It'll hurt like hell. 3. Positivity kills your motivation. But wait, I hear you say, doesn't positivity motivate you? Oh, you sweet summer child. Let me break it down for you. When you're always positive, you start to believe that everything will work out on its own. So why bother putting in the effort? You become complacent, lazy even. Why study for that exam when you're sure you'll ace it anyway? Why prepare for that presentation when you're confident it'll go great? Before you know it, you're failing classes and bombing at work, all because your positivity told you everything would be fine. Marcus Aurelius warned us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But when you're too optimistic, you give away that power, expecting outside events to magically align in your favor. 4. Optimism makes you unprepared for challenges. Life is full of challenges. It's a fact. But when you're too busy being positive, you don't prepare for these obstacles. You're like a hiker climbing Everest in flip-flops because you're sure it'll be fine. Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Well, good luck reacting to a crisis when your positivity has left you completely unprepared. While the realists are battening down the hatches, you're still dancing in the sunshine, oblivious to the approaching storm. And when that storm hits, you'll be washed away, wondering what went wrong. Spoiler alert, it was your blind optimism. 5. Positivity damages your relationships. Think your sunny disposition makes you the life of the party? Think again. Constantly being positive can actually damage your relationships. Why? Because nobody likes a Pollyanna, always telling them to look on the bright side when things are tough. When your friend is going through a breakup, they don't want to hear about how there are plenty of fish in the sea. When your coworker loses a big client, they don't need you chirping about how it's an opportunity for growth. Sometimes, people just want to be heard and understood, not showered with toxic positivity. As Seneca wisely noted, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. And when you're always imagining that everything's great, you're invalidating the very real suffering of those around you. 6. Optimism leads to poor decision-making. Here's a fun fact: optimists make terrible decisions. Why? Because they're always expecting the best possible outcome. They underestimate risks and overestimate rewards. It's like they're playing Russian roulette, convinced that every chamber is empty. You know who makes good decisions? Realists. People who look at the world as it is, not as they wish it to be. They consider both the potential upsides and the possible pitfalls. Meanwhile, you're over there making life-altering choices based on the assumption that everything will work out just fine. Epictetus warned, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." But when you're too optimistic, you skip right over the what you have to do part, assuming it'll all fall into place on its own. 7. Positivity stifles personal growth. Here's an uncomfortable truth: growth comes from discomfort. When you're always positive, always comfortable, you're not growing. You're stagnating. You're like a tree planted in infertile soil, convinced that your positive attitude will make you grow. Spoiler alert, it won't. Real growth comes from facing challenges, from failing and getting back up. But when you're too optimistic, you avoid these uncomfortable situations. You stick to what you know, what feels good, what you're sure you can succeed at. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. But when you're too positive, you never need to find that strength, because you never push yourself out of your comfort zone. 8. Optimism leads to financial ruin. Want to know a great way to lose all your money? Be overly optimistic. Optimists are more likely to take financial risks, to overspend, to invest in get-rich-quick schemes. They're the ones buying lottery tickets, convinced that this time they'll hit the jackpot. Meanwhile, realists are saving for retirement, budgeting responsibly, and making informed investment decisions. But that's not as fun as believing you'll magically become a millionaire, is it? Seneca warned, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." And when you're always optimistic about your financial future, you're always craving more, always chasing that next big win. 9. Positivity makes you ignore red flags. Red flags? What red flags? When you're an eternal optimist, you don't see warning signs. You're too busy focusing on the potential, on what could be, to see what's actually in front of you. That new job that's asking you to work 80 hours a week for minimum wage? You see it as an opportunity for growth. That partner who constantly disrespects you? You're sure they'll change if you just stay positive. Newsflash, they won't. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." But when you're ignoring red flags, you can't react appropriately because you're not even acknowledging the problem. 10. Optimism leads to burnout. Here's the kicker: all that positivity? It's exhausting. constantly looking on the bright side, always pushing down negative emotions. Forever trying to find the silver lining, it's a recipe for burnout. You become so focused on maintaining your positive outlook that you ignore your own needs and limits. You push yourself too hard, take on too much, all because your optimism tells you that you can handle it. Marcus Aurelius warned, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. But when you're always positive, you give away that power, letting your optimism push you beyond your limits. So there you have it, folks. 10 ways that positivity and optimism are secretly ruining your life. Still think looking on the bright side is the way to go? Think again. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. But isn't some positivity good? Well, sure, in moderation. The key is balance. Be positive, but don't be blind to reality. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Be optimistic, but don't ignore the challenges ahead. Remember what Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." So instead of always being positive about what could be, try being grateful for what is. Before we wrap up, I want to thank you for sticking around till the end. I know this wasn't an easy pill to swallow, but I hope it's given you something to think about. Maybe next time someone tells you to just think positive, you'll think twice. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hey, if you're feeling optimistic, maybe share it with a friend. Just don't expect them to actually watch it, because, you know, realism. Until next time, remember, a little negativity might just save your future. Stay real, stay grounded, and don't let positivity ruin your life.